Kamala Harris. And to honor Kamala Harris, this joyful warrior who's going to save our democracy and save our climate, we want to bring you some of that joy tonight. You're going to hear in a moment from another blissful warrior in the person of my Congressman, Jamie Raskin of Maryland. You're going to hear inspiring, joyful music from the musician Leo Gonzalez and from the outstanding singing duo of Emma's Revolution. And you're going to hear what you can do to take the worry out of this election for you by in this really, really close election and turn it into joyful action. Over the next 2.5 weeks, volunteers with CCAN Action Fund are going to continue knocking on doors and phone banking into one particular state, Pennsylvania. Wherever you are in the country, you can help us with phone banking into this state of Pennsylvania. And if you're in the Mid-Atlantic region, we want to offer you the volunteer vacation experience of a lifetime over the next 2 weeks in the vote-rich city of Philadelphia, where we will throw in a free Airbnb for your in-person canvassing efforts. You'll learn more about that over the next hour. But first, why Pennsylvania? That's simple. With 19 electoral votes, neither candidate has a plausible pathway to the White House without this most swingy of swing states. According to the polling site 538, Kamala Harris has a 91% chance of winning the race if she wins Pennsylvania. And Trump has a 95% chance if he wins the state. And this is where a lot of the joy comes in. Over the next 2 months, working with volunteers from CCAN Action Fund, I've had the joy of phone banking, for example, a 20-year-old student from Pittsburgh who had left to go to college in Philadelphia and didn't know he could still conveniently vote away from home. That is until, while we were on the phone, I was able to text him the link to order a vote by mail ballot. I've had the joy of canvassing in person an 85-year-old Republican from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, who first voted for Richard Nixon in 1960 and has never voted for a Democrat until, after a long talk, he agreed to vote for Kamala Harris because no 34-time convicted felon should be in the White House, he said. This is fun stuff, y'all, and worth, I think, a second endorsement from the great writer and activist Bill McKibben, while we put some volunteer links in the chat. Bill was kind enough to send us this video.
Hello, friends. It's Bill McKibben here. And right now, in the next month or so, you guys are perfectly positioned to do the biggest favor of all, because our federal contest is coming down to a single state, the Keystone State of Pennsylvania. If Kamala Harris wins it, I think she'll be your neighbor for the next 4 years there in the big house on Pennsylvania Avenue, which is why everybody that's in Maryland and Virginia and DC are lucky. Won't you please sign up to knock on doors in Pennsylvania with the CCAN Action Fund? They're getting together caravans every single Saturday through Election Day. Sign up now. You can also join phone banks from home every Tuesday and Wednesday to call swing voters in Pennsylvania. I'll give you the training. It's not that hard. It's kind of fun. You don't need me to tell you that our climate and our democracy are on the line. You can trust that I'm doing my best. I've visited every swing state a couple of times by the time we're reached November 5th. As Tim Walz says, we'll sleep when we die, or alternately on November 6th. So won't you join the CCAN Action Fund and make a difference in Pennsylvania? Nothing's more important right now. Nothing. Thanks.
Thank you, Bill McKibben, and his message. Thank you, Bill McKibben, and his message obviously applies to all of you outside the region too. If you can't make it to Pennsylvania in person, or you can't phone bank, you can still write postcards into swing states like Michigan. We'll put links in the chat. The goal of this Zoom rally is to inspire you to take action if you haven't already, and to take more action if you've already been helping. And here to help with all of that in just a moment will be my congressman, Jamie Raskin. We're still waiting for him. He's attending multiple fundraising events and other events to help Democrats and climate champions across the region.
Hey, Mike, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm here.
Oh, you're there. Okay.
Hey, how are
Jamie,
you, brother?
Well, listen, Jamie Raskin is here. And like I said, the goal is to inspire. There he is. We can see him. Jamie needs little introduction beyond stating that virtually no one, and I mean no one, has done more to defend our democracy from the MAGA reactionaries in Congress than he has, serving as leader of the second impeachment trial of Donald Trump and serving with distinction as a member of the bipartisan January 6th Commission. Jamie is also a climate activist focused in particular on holding fossil fuel companies accountable for their historic deceptions that have greatly deepened the climate crisis. So I am proud to present my friend and my neighbor, Congressman Jamie Raskin, who is sideways.
Sorry, forgive me. I don't want to be sideways with the climate activists. You guys are my favorite. I've been to 28 states. I just got back from an event for Angela Also Brooks. We're going to the Maryland State Democratic event, and I'm headed back to Pennsylvania this weekend. So it is all hands on deck moment. Everybody is engaged in this fight for the democracy and for our world, and they go together because the way I see this campaign, it's like the dictators and the despots and the strongmen against the Democrats all over the world. And, you know, you got the autocrats and the petrocrats in Russia, and you've got the theocrats in MAGA with Mike Johnson, and the plutocrats and the kleptocrats in Mar-a-Lago, and all of them are working to try to overthrow our democracy, literally change our system of government. And we are fighting for democracy and freedom. And it's only within democracy that we're going to have a chance to continue to make the steps forward we need in order to save the species and save the climate. The autocrats, the theocrats, the kleptocrats, the plutocrats, the dictators, the tyrants are not going to do it. They actually believe, you know, that they understand climate change is real behind closed doors. They don't talk about it in public, but they think that they can, you know, wall themselves off in their palaces and their gated communities and their private airplanes and their air conditioning, and they're not going to have to worry about it. And it's the rest of the world that will suffer, and they don't give a damn. And that's clearly Donald Trump's position and the position of the GOP today. You know, either they think they're too wealthy to have to worry about it, or else they are, you know, genuine theocratic zealots who believe that, you know, humankind can't do anything about climate change and all of it is a myth and so on. Well, I remember when Trump was president and he tweeted out, climate change is a hoax perpetrated on the Americans by the Chinese. And then I tweeted out, no, Donald Trump is a hoax perpetrated on the Americans by the Russians, which is a far closer description of the political reality. So we got to defend our democracy. We got to defend our freedom. And with our democracy, we're going to have the chance to continue the progress that we made in the Inflation Reduction Act, to promote renewable energy and to dramatically reduce the carbon emissions. So forgive me, losing my voice here. I'll close simply by saying, please tell all the young people in your life what we tell the young people in Democracy Summer, which is everything you need to know about voting is everything you need to know about driving. If you want to go forward, you put it in D. If you want to go backwards, you put it in R. We're going to move forward, and we're going to make this happen. Thank you, Mike Tidwell, and thanks to Bill McKibben, and thanks to all of the great climate activists out there. Hang tough, everybody.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you so much. Congressman Jamie Raskin of Maryland, thank you so much for joining us. You know, it's an honor to be with someone who's done as much to save, again, our democracy from the MAGA extremists. And now we're going to talk about how we all can continue to help save our democracy from the MAGA extremists. And with that, I want to introduce my esteemed colleague, Quentin Scott, who is CCAN Action Fund Federal Director. Quentin.
Thank you, Mike. I love that analogy that Congressman Raskin just used. I'm going to start using that going forward. So as Mike said, today marks 19 days until Election Day, and there is no clear winner. In each of the 7 congressional battlegrounds, not congressional, but the 7 battleground states, we have statistical ties that seem to be getting even tighter somehow. In places like Pennsylvania, where CCAN Action Fund has been campaigning, there are only 4 days left to register to vote. My point being, we have the closest election in modern history, and time is literally running out to make a difference. With the help of so many of you already, we've made a big difference. In just a bit, you're going to hear from some of our volunteers that have already been making a difference for Harris in Pennsylvania. So let's go through some quick numbers. All right. So every Tuesday and Wednesday, we host a 2-hour phone bank where we call likely progressive Democrats who are considered low propensity voters. For us, that's a list of 123,000 voters across the state of Pennsylvania. From those phone banks, we've made 204,745 dials. We've talked to 16,757 people and identified 2,010 voters for Harris. We've also identified 599 undecided voters. Those undecided voters have gotten additional targeted social media ads and text messages from us as well to move them in the direction of Harris. We're also organizing volunteers, primarily from Northern Virginia, DC, and Maryland, to make the trip up to Pennsylvania to engage in a fun new tactic to encourage Philadelphians to vote early by mail. You'll hear more about this tactic later. We started this tactic on October 8th. So far, we've had 30 volunteers who have carpooled or taken the train to come up. Those volunteers have had about 2,405 conversations with voters in high foot traffic areas in downtown Philly. From those conversations, we've gotten 481 people to immediately go early vote just because volunteers like yourselves stopped them right there on the street. Amazing. If you know anything about CCAN Action Fund, we are a hard-charging group, so we didn't stop there. Every Saturday, we lead carpools up to either the Philadelphia area or the Harrisburg area to knock doors. You can see from, next slide. You can see from this picture below, that's our crew from last Saturday. And so up to last Saturday, we have knocked on 3,243 doors, had 804 conversations, and identified 239 voters for Harris. And we also saw the Harris Walls tour bus driving around Harrisburg on last Saturday as well. Amazing work by our volunteers, and you should give yourselves a round of applause for the work you've done so far. But the numbers alone only show a partial view of the impact that we've been having. Just last night, we had a volunteer call a man in Bucks County, and she engaged this man in persuasion, and he came around and supported Harris. And after that, we encouraged each voter to vote by mail. And once he offered up this vote by mail option, he said, "Really? I didn't know I could even do that." And then he asked, "How many ballots can I request?" And she was like, "Sorry, sir, there's only one ballot per voter." And he's like, no, that's not what I mean. I want to request one for my wife, my children, my neighbors, and some of my family members. So for our count, we only count one person who we've gotten a vote by mail early. But the impact is exponential because now because we informed him about this vote by mail option, he's now going to spread that information in his community. And as we know, the best way to drive votes is from people you know. And so that's what we've been able to do. So even though we've had fantastic numbers, I'm sure our impact is even greater than what I described. I've been around campaigns for about 15 years now, and this has truly been one of the most effective volunteer operations I've been associated with because of volunteers in the audience like you. So once again, give yourselves a pat on the back for the volunteers that have already participated. And if you haven't volunteered with us, Go sign up right now with those links in the chat. There's no more time to put it off. It's crunch time. So let's go win. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Clinton. I'm ready. I'm going. I'm going this weekend. I'm going next week. And you know, there's no good movement that doesn't become a singing movement. Music is so vital to social change. And that's why I'm so honored now to introduce my friends who make up the incredible group Emma's Revolution. Emma's Revolution is the dynamic, award-winning activist duo of Pat Humphries and Sandy O. The duo they're in their 20th year of performing together. Emma's Revolution songs have traveled around the world and have been sung for the Dalai Lama, praised by Pete Seeger, and covered by Holly Near. And Pat and Sandy, I've known you for a long time. You're now on the West Coast near Oakland. I used to be on the East Coast, and we did a lot of organizing together. Please sing us into victory tonight as we support Kamala Harris.
Thank you so much, Mike. I'm Sandy O from Emma's Revolution.
And I'm Pat Humphries. Great to be with you all again.
This is exactly where we want to be 19 days out. I have more than 19 reasons why I want to vote for Kamala Harris, but one of them is that I am ready to vote for the first woman of color to become president of these United States.
And, you know, good leaders require good activists who have input around the issues that matter to all of us. And you know, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz seem like the team that will be most engaged and most interested and most responsive to the needs of the community. You know, even if we have to struggle through some things, I would rather struggle with him and with them than the alternative.
Right. I think Jamie Raskin said it, and so did Mike. You know, the other team is out to destroy democracy, and that's not what we want for this future. You know, I also love being part of CCAN events because you all get the connection between the issues. And we sang a long time ago at a climate demonstration, and we sang our peace song because we know, and you know, that the war machine is one of the largest polluters on this planet. And so if we want to save our absolute only world that we have, we really need to learn how to make peace. We need to stop the wars. And I was really pleased to see that CCAN is standing with us to create peace and justice in the Middle East and for a ceasefire in Gaza for an end to the genocide. So this is one of the songs we've written about this moment that we're in. And we wholeheartedly support Kamala Harris. And then we push for the stuff we want. You know how it is. You can sing this with us. Got a chorus for you. For the people, you and me, our lives, our love, our country, our rights, our choices. Get out the vote and raise your voices. We won't go back. We won't go back. Try that with us. We won't go back. We won't go back. Stop the weapons, the killing would cease if you were willing for Palestine and Jewish mamas, freedom, safety. Come on, Kamala, we won't go back. We won't go back. We won't go back. We won't go back. All we believe in, all we have dreamed of, all we've demanded, and all we have fought for, all who have fallen, and all who will rise now. Seekers, dreamers. is when we make it. We'll forge the path onward, never going back. Keep moving forward. We won't go back. We won't go back. Come on, Kamala. We won't go back. We won't go back. Thanks so much. Thanks for having us. Keep
Thanks.
feeling strong.
Thanks for doing all you're doing.
That's right.
Thank you so much. Emma's Revolution, y'all. They're going to come back and sing another song before this hour is out. So inspiring, so inspiring. We got more coming. Just to give you a taste of the kind of people you'll meet phone banking or door knocking for us into the state of Pennsylvania, we want to feature two activists tonight who I've had the great pleasure of working on saving our democracy. And it doesn't matter how old you are. Our next speaker is a 13-year-old gentleman by the name of David Lopez Maldonado. He lives in Mount Rainier, Maryland. He knocked on doors. We knocked on doors together one Saturday last month in the neighborhood of Roxborough, Philadelphia, in the Roxborough neighborhood of Philadelphia. He's an amazing soccer player, an outstanding student, and if he could, he would vote for Kamala Harris, but he can't yet, so he's counting on all the rest of us. David, tell us more about why you are so excited to get Kamala Harris elected.
Thank you, Mike. It's a pleasure being here. I am a proud son of immigrants. My father is from Mexico. My mother is from Honduran. My father started a business and it's created opportunities for other people. My mom is a babysitter and she's given advice to the children that she gave them advice that they're going to keep with them for a long time. Going into high school, I think it's undecided, but I'm interested in the arts, engineering, and astronomy. And so going to canvassing in Philadelphia, I really liked hearing the issues that people had to say there, and what they wanted and how they wanted to fix it. And with that, I had very interesting conversations, and I met friends that you can also you can make friends when you're canvassing. Like in my case, Mike, that's why I'm here today, sharing my thoughts with you all. I encourage you to canvass in Philadelphia, to send out votes, and every encouragement or every person that you get to vote for Kamala is another step closer that we get to getting a USA that we want and a better future that we have in mind. So why I support Kamala Harris is because she is a protector, in a sense. When she was in high school, her friend was being sexually abused, and she helped her by bringing her into her house and helping her until she was safe again. And presently, she was a prosecutor, the Attorney General of California, and personally, I feel safer if I have a president that has that. I want a woman president. Going from my first topic, we can make history here. The USA has never had a woman president, and there are other countries that have, dating back to like 40 or 50 years ago. And personally, I think USA needs to make a change for the better, and that would be Kamala. She can also make a huge representation on women and whoever they want to be, and getting they can show their contribution to our world. So my biggest point that I have, that why I support Kamala, is because she is all for civility. She respects both Republicans and Democrats. She likes hearing both voices. She likes hearing both opinions of both of them. Like an example is when she went to Fox News to reach out to the Republicans, and she also wants to have a Republican in her cabinet, whereas Trump, he does not like to be challenged, in a sense, or doubted. In the debate, he says, well, he fires people who really challenge him, and when he was in his term, it was really chaotic. And the most chaotic, when it was really chaotic, it was when on January 6th. And with Kamala being president, it'll be a much less likely chance that will happen, because she hears both voices of Republicans and Democrats. And for all of this combined, I want to top it off that I want a US that is peaceful and makes a perfect example of the world, of what you can be, and so that we can all be united and not divided. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you so much, David. And so, yeah, that's his godfather, patting him on the back. I am proud to say that I've knocked on doors with you, that I've traveled up to Philadelphia to help Kamala Harris get elected. And I want to say to everyone on this call, if you're not already phone banking, if you're not already knocking on doors, at least do as much as the 13-year-olds among us. David, you're a brave kid. You're a fantastic citizen at a young age, and you're setting an example for all the older people on this call who can vote and who can do more. So thank you so much. Our next volunteer that I want to introduce is Doris Marlin. Doris is a superstar. She's a Army civilian who has been a climate activist since 1992. She's jumped into the Potomac River with CCAN 3 times during our polar bear plunge in January and February. And she's also been phone banking. Today, right now she's in Philadelphia because she was street canvassing today. She's also been doing something called vote curing, which she may tell us a little bit about. But Doris, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Mike, for the opportunity to be here and to share some of my experiences. I really appreciate it. So, yes, I've been a climate activist for many years, and I have been an activist helping get out the vote for over 20 years. And as we activists have heard, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, which is one of the reasons why I've joined up with CCAN, because I knew that they would be doing great work and I would be happy and proud to connect with them and work with them. So I was launched into political activity because I moved to Florida in the year 2000, shortly before the 2000 election outcome, where only 5 citizens of the US, the 5 Supreme Court judges, determined who would win the 2000 election. And I happened to live in Duval County, where 26,000 votes of individuals who were from marginalized communities, their votes were thrown out. And I said, oh, never again, and have continued to be involved. So one of the things I try to make sure I do whenever, in all the forms in which I do get out the vote, I try to make sure that there's always a positive experience, even if I don't agree with the person I'm having a conversation with. And I keep in mind that every vote counts. Every person I speak with matters, even if it might feel a little inefficient, or if you're just not sure if you're making a difference. You definitely are. And so that kind of brings me to the phone banking that I have been doing with CCAN. And I just want to say, of all of the phone banking I've done for the past 20 years, it has never been this easy, this organized. And so it just comes together so easily. You have made it so simple. And the two things that I particularly like or have liked about phone banking is when you're speaking with a voter and you can hear the relief in their voices when you can give them information that helps them make voting easier, especially when we're helping people request their mail-in ballots and tell them the many easy ways they can return those ballots. Secondly, I am here in Philly, and I have been talking to people right next to the voting polling place right there at City Hall. It's been wonderful. I've met so many people, and yes, in fact, people walk by and I say, "Hey, did you know you could vote today?" And they're like, "Really? Where? How?" And they are so happy to know, oh, I can go there. Oh, you know what? I'm actually getting my wedding photos. See, I'm in my bride's dress right now. So it's not a good time for me to stop in, but I walk by here every day and I know that I will pick up my ballot, fill it out, return it right here and now, and let other people know. And I've met so many people today, just in a few hours, from out of state who are like, rah, rah, Kamala. We are voting for her in our own states, and people doing their own get out the vote. And it's also a very interesting spot because there are so many international visitors at this location as well. And lastly, I would like to share the ballot curing that I have done in Florida, Georgia, and in the 3rd District of Colorado in the 2020 election. And when you ballot cure, every state has different rules. And I just do want to point out that this is not something that CCAN is connected to because of the way their organization is set up and who and how they can coordinate with the different political parties. But when a mail-in ballot has a signature issue or maybe something went wrong with registration, the supervisor of elections and the different campaigns and organizations that support those campaigns reach out to the voter. And so often the voter does not even know that their ballot won't be counted. But through the outreach, they learn this. They learn the super easy, fast way that they can cure their ballot, and then that vote counts. It helps get our candidates over that margin that we know will be so tight this year. And so easy to do, very rewarding. I help stroke victims, hurricane victims who otherwise were not going to be able to get their vote out. Thank you so much.
Doris Marlin, thank you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for all you continue to do. We're going to put Doris's email address in the chat if you want to contact her about vote curing. Very, very important. Folks are doing it in Pennsylvania and North Carolina. You can follow up with her as an expert directly. And thank you so much. I mean, what an inspiration to have David and Doris join us on this call. I now we're gonna do music again. We are so blessed to have Leo Gonzalez with us. He is a singer and songwriter who has touched the lives of many people with his fun yet thoughtful music, sending a message to adults and children of all cultures that we can and should unite to build a better world for all. We invited Lilo, who I met at an artist event years ago. We invited him to a 2020 event for Joe Biden, a rally for Joe Biden, and Joe Biden won. And so we just thought, logically, we're going to invite Lilo to sing tonight so that Kamala Harris wins. So Lilo, no pressure, but take us away.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for what you are doing. I know this is a special election. But let me just say what you were saying, 5 years ago, right? We did it for Biden, and we will do it again, And now is the time to do it. And with music, and we need to have hope because this is our future. So let's sing together. And you know this song. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree standing by the water. We shall not be moved. En español, no nos moverá. No nos moverá como un árbol que crece junto al río. No nos moverá. Votemos por Kamala, no nos moverá. Votemos por Kamala, no nos moverá como un árbol que crece junto al río. No nos moverá. United in the struggle, we shall not be moved. United in the struggle, we shall not be moved. It's like a tree standing by the water. We shall not be moved. No nos moverá. No nos moverá como un árbol que crece junto al río. No nos moverá. El 5 de noviembre, todos a votar. 5 de noviembre, todos a votar como un árbol que crece junto al río. No nos moverá. One more time. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree standing by the water. We shall not be moved. No nos moverán. No nos moverán, ¿verdad? Thank you very much, Mike. And let me say, I want to invite you on Saturday 26th. On Saturday, this 26th, from 4 to 6 p.m. We will have a concert for democracy on Bass Boy and Poet in Tacoma Park. So this is sponsored by Civic Circle. So we'll be there from 4 to 6, and let's keep singing. Let's keep singing because this is our future. This election means a lot. And for me, as an immigrant, when they don't respect the people that are really working hard, picking tomatoes, doing all the job, looking around in my neighborhood, all this carpenter, these people building, working hard, this is the future. And that's why we need to vote for Kamala, because we need somebody that really cares about the people. And for me, it's the future of my daughter, my son, and my grandkid, Mike. So thank you very much for doing this and telling we still have 2 weeks to keep, si se puede. Oh, yes, we can. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lilo Gonzalez. I feel it. We're going to win again. You did it. You put us across and over the top with that song. Now we just got to go do the work because it's going to take work. 2.5 weeks. It's going to be election day in no time. We've got a lot to do, and no one better to tell us how we're going to do it than Jamie DeMarco. Jamie is CCAN Action Fund's Elections Director. Jamie, what do you got for us?
Thank you, Mike. I first want to say that if you have not yet The most important thing that you can do tonight is click on the chat button. Go to the bottom of your Zoom screen, click on chat, because that is where all the links that you need to sign up are. So as I'm talking, I will not be offended. If you scroll through that chat, just scroll to the bottom for the most recent best links and sign up to do all the things that you've heard about today. As you've heard, there is no better feeling than the feeling of knowing that you personally got one more vote for Kamala Harris in Pennsylvania, the state that is likely going to determine this election. When I was door knocking, I spoke to a woman unloading groceries from her car who, when we started speaking, she said, look, I don't know who I'm going to vote for yet. But when we were done speaking, she said, I'm going to vote for Kamala, don't worry. That's one more vote we got for Kamala. Today, I was outside of City Hall in Philadelphia, and a woman came running up with tears in her eyes because she had come from from New Jersey that day, where she's taking care of her mom. She still lives in Philadelphia, but taking care of her mom in New Jersey. And this was her only chance. She made it up here to vote early. And there was only 15 minutes left before the office closed, and she couldn't find the office. And we pointed her to the office. It's very confusing at City Hall. I don't know if you've ever been there in Philadelphia. She was able to cast that vote she wouldn't have been able to cast. When we were on the phone with someone, when I was on the phone with someone, they were talking about how they didn't know that they could get a mail-in ballot. They were leaving the country ahead of Election Day. They requested that mail-in ballot. They were able to vote. In each instance, there was one more vote for Kamala Harris in Pennsylvania. And I have the joy of knowing that there are thousands of people just like me working hard to win this election. And this entire election will likely be determined by just a few thousand votes in Pennsylvania. Someone shared the metaphor recently, and I thought it was compelling, that this election is like World War I trench warfare. There aren't a lot of big swings back and forth. Most people know what they're doing. The lines are drawn, and each side is sort of camped out there at the 49.5% mark. And whichever side can inch its way over to get to that 50% threshold is going to win. And that inching over the threshold is going to happen through field work, from talking to people and getting them over the line. Because when you're talking to people, you have power. You have the power to get them to vote, to make sure they know what they need to know, to answer their questions, a power that nobody else has in that moment. All of the digital ads in the world, all of the news coverage, all the text message, all the emails, all the high-level messaging, none of it can reach certain people. And when you're talking to them one-on-one, whether on the phone or in person, you are the most important person and the most powerful person in determining whether they vote that day. All the fossil fuel billionaires who are pouring millions and hundreds of millions of dollars into this election have less power than you in that moment to determine whether that person votes for Harris. And so we are working really hard. And I want you to experience that power and to experience the joy. Imagine the joy when we have defeated Donald Trump for the last time, definitively for the last time in 2.5 weeks. I want you to have the joy of knowing that you helped, that you got one more vote for Harris in Pennsylvania. And you're going to have that joy for the rest of your life, knowing you got one more vote for Harris in Pennsylvania, along with thousands of other people who did the same thing and turned this election and changed history. So I'm going to pause here, because before we go on, you have got to open the chat. You have got to look through the links, and you have got to sign up for things. You can door knock, you can phone bank, you can come to Philly during the week and help us get out the vote, encouraging, as like Doris said, say, would you like to vote today? So as you're doing that, I will pass it back to Mike.
And Jamie, tell us, we have lodging for people in Philadelphia, right? Tell us more about that.
Yes, thank you. There's a growing consensus that voting early and the early vote wins elections. This is very true. If you imagine, just to make up numbers, you need 5 million people to vote for you in order to win. If the week before Election Day, nobody has voted, then you need to run a campaign to contact 5 million people. But on the other hand, if 3 million people have already voted, your universe has shrunk to 2 million people, which is a lot more achievable. This is how we won in 2020. Voters for Biden really ran up the victory in the early vote, and Trump just wasn't able to catch up on Election Day. And that's what we're doing in the same thing here. Pennsylvania has no in-person early voting technically. However, it does have mail-in voting. And starting now, starting a few weeks ago, someone can walk into the City Hall in Philadelphia, request their mail-in ballot, be handed their mail-in ballot, fill it out and turn it in, which is technically mail-in voting, but from the user experience, it feels like in-person early voting. And that is very much not known by a lot of people. This is the first non-pandemic presidential election cycle where this is available. Almost nobody knows about it. So as Dora said, we're standing out there and just saying, would you like to vote today? And consistently, we get people say, I can vote today? Okay. And then they go and they vote right then and there. And a vote early is more valuable for Harris. And that is what we're doing. And that is what you can do as well. I'll put the chat and the link in the chat again for how you can sign up to do that.
And if you would like lodging, we can help. First come, first serve. We've reserved some Airbnbs near downtown Philadelphia. You can come for 2 days, you can come for 3. We need your help. Yes, please, everyone check out the chats, take action. Our goal tonight, if all we've done is educated you a little bit and just inspired you a little bit, but not moved you to action, then we have failed. Our goal is to get you to commit to action. So we're going to watch a quick video and to take us down the home stretch. We're going to hear some music and then we're going to close out.
Trying to rain on the thunder. Tell the storm I'm new. I'm a wild, come a march on the regular. Painting white flags blue.
What kind of America do we want? One where we're divided, angry, depressed. Come on, we're Americans. Fascism, we conquered it. The moon, landed on it. The future, building it. Freedom, nobody loves it more. And we fight for it. Freedom from control. Freedom from extremism and fear.
Extremists want to take us back, but we are not going back. I'ma keep running 'cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
We go forward. That's American. And we need a leader who is for the people.
Ours is a fight for the future.
Kamala Harris, protecting people from predators and big drug cartels, holding Wall Street banks accountable.
A crime perpetrated against our middle class.
Standing up to dictators and fighting for all of us.
I say we fight.
That's our choice, a prosecutor or a felon.
Are you ready to make your voices heard? The promise of America. And are we ready to fight for it? I'ma keep running 'cause the winner don't quit on themselves. And when we fight, we win.
Well, if you're not ready to fight after that, then you know you got to join us anyway. Let's go. Listen, it's going to be great. We're coming down to the home stretch. Thank you for everyone who stuck around. We're not done yet. We're going to hear one more song from Emma's Revolution. Then we're going to wrap up with a couple more words. I want you to hang in there. Stay with us till the top of the hour because we've got a little bit more information to share with you. But back to our dear friends, Sandy and Pat at Emma's Revolution.
Thank you so much. This is such an inspiring evening.
Yeah, it's great. It's really great to see all these images and hear about all the stuff that you've been doing. Sandy and I have been touring. We were just in Ohio. We were down in North Carolina. We're going to Philadelphia. So we're doing our best to get the word out as well from behind our guitars.
That's right. And I'm going to be signing up for that phone banking stuff. I love this. This is so great. So yeah, Philly's my hometown. So come see us. We'll be in Philly on November 3rd. Let's get out the vote before then. Thank you again for having us. This song could have been written for the campaign, but it was actually written a long, long time ago. But we sing it today for the campaign and to keep you going in all that you're doing in these last 19 days.
Much love to y'all. Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on moving proudly.
Now you know the whole song.
Keep on moving proudly. Keep on moving proudly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna vote to save democracy. Vote to save democracy. Vote to save democracy. Never turning back. Never turning back. Put a woman in the White House.
Let's put a woman in the White House.
Put a woman in the White House. Put a woman in the White House. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna fight to save the planet. Fight to save the planet. Fight to save the planet. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna sow the seeds of justice. Sow the seeds of justice. Sow the seeds of justice. Never turning back. 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 Never turning back.
Wow, if there was ever a perfect song to end a perfect hour together, I think that was it. Thank you, Sandy and Pat. Thank you for everyone who joined us. Look, a few more days left. You know, for the rest of our lives, people are going to ask us, what did you do to save our democracy in the fall of 2024? What did you do, mom, dad, brother, sis? And we're going to be able to tell them, we got out there. We went to the critical state in this election, Pennsylvania. We picked up the phone conveniently from home. We followed the voices of these great musicians and these great activists and this wonderful 13-year-old kid who's with us, and everybody in the field. It's just been amazing. This is what democracy is. This is what America's all about. What we've seen here tonight, what we've heard, what we've witnessed. And now everyone in the future is counting on us. Every 24 hours between now and November 5th is so important. Everyone in the future is counting on us. Everyone is going to be looking back at what we did in these last 2.5 weeks. So I know you're going to check out the chats and the link. You're going to see the links in the chat. You're going to see everything you can do. We're going to follow up with an email to make this really convenient for you. We're going to see you on those phone banks. We're going to see you in Philadelphia, and we're going to see you at the victory parties. They're going to break out all over this country when we win. So thank you, everyone, again, and we will see you soon. Have a great evening.